out to another episode of It's All Been Trek Before. This time, The Battle. Yeah, it's not the most imaginatively titled episode, but you'll hear what we think about it as you keep listening. Speaking of which, I'm going to say it. Patreon.com or Patreon.com/IABD. That is not the entire name. It's Patreon.com/IABD or Patreon.com/IABD. It's not all. There's no or in the website. So if you go to that, but if you want that, I bet it's available. But no, go there. Donate. Support us. And we're going to give back to you bonus episodes like our Star Trek Futurama episode. Also, the extended episode of Encounter 4 and more stuff's coming. Also, while we're in that IABD Presents world, it's time for It's All Been Written. Time for you to get in on it. You can go back and listen and read some of the other winners. But this time for you to get in. This year, the theme, they're frightened of jumping in case they survive. Get in on it. Go to the website. Get all the rules. Go to IABDpresents.com. Get all those rules. Get in on it. We know you're creative people. That's why you listen to us. We talk about rewatching a show from 30 years ago. You got to be creative to do that. We're going to talk about it for about an hour right now on the battle episode of It's All Been Trek Before.
Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Trek Before.
Skeleton Crew, this is Steven.
Jimmy-Jerome, and we are going mano-a-mano in this revenge mission. Let's debate this. You want to take Bach or Picard's side?
I'm going to go with Picard. But
then I concede. We're here to talk The Battle, the Next Generation episode where Picard, the Ferengi show up, say, hey, Picard, we got a gift for you. Here's your old starship, the Stargazer, all fixed and shiny and... Not shiny, but fixed.
Yeah, it seems fishy. Seems a little fishy. They even say, this seems weird.
And you're getting lots of bad headaches, but surely that's not connected. The headaches are a thing of the past.
Yeah.
Guess what? They're connected!
All that stuff right off the bat, I think both of us felt like, okay, we know it's going somewhere. We get that this is going to connect or whatever. Can we just get there? And that said, I thought there are a bunch. I did like a lot of elements of the episode. Mm-hmm. Overall, it was very much like, can we just get to that?
Yeah, I think there were some wonderful scenes and concepts.
I do too. Yeah.
I don't hate this episode.
I don't either. I think it's...
There was just the main plot was just so obvious.
Yeah, and I think I feel like there was probably a better way to get there, but
I think
I would have to think somebody creative could come up with a better way.
I mean, honestly, the scenes of Bach like in the shadow with his orb were so unnecessary.
Oh my god!
Like we already knew he was doing something to Picard. Yeah. We got that. You didn't need to show it. Mm. We're not dumb. It felt like an original series episode that then was overwritten.
Yeah, and
almost like the story was too short, so they added extra stuff that wasn't needed.
To the point that even the characters in it, like the Doctor and people, are like, "Well, this doesn't make sense. It's got to be something else." Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's got to be. And then they get on and they just keep going.
Well, it was very similar to the other recent episode we had.
Yeah.
And when Riker and Crusher, again, were like, should we take his command?
Yeah, I was like, didn't we just do this episode?
We did just do that. Was that just the previous episode?
Was it just last week or 2 weeks ago?
It was one of those two.
It was very recent.
And so that bothered me too, because I was like, man, how bad is this captain? I mean, he's been a captain for 27 years.
Yeah.
Oh, he was Captain Stargazer for 22 years. Then there was a 9-year gap. So
wow.
He's been a captain for like 30 years. And twice in like 2 or 3 weeks, they want to take away his command.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, to give my first impression was a lot of good stuff here and a lot of just very basic, for lack of a better term, stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate it. That's for sure.
No. So the revenge plot. I mean, yes, it's classic, but it's also interesting.
I felt like, well, it wasn't the exact same. This is spoiler alert for 30 years from now. Was it Into Darkness the last? No, not Into Darkness. The last of the Kelvin.
Beyond?
Yeah, which I still thought was a good movie, but
it's a great movie.
The revenge part in that was also kind of like, okay, all right. I mean, they didn't telegraph it, but when they did bring it in, it was like, okay, I guess that makes sense. Well, that was a little different. You had to suspend disbelief. This one was like, okay, that makes sense. Revenge the whole time. You kind of told us somebody wants revenge.
Well, when you have the Wrath of Khan to compare any revenge story to, they're all going to fall short.
That's true too.
And no, so the revenge thing, like, so the Ferengi, up to this point, we've only seen, this is only the second time we've seen them. They've been mentioned.
Yeah.
But what we mainly know about them is that they're just greedy. That's their code.
Right.
They're super capitalist.
I find to an extent, was very entertaining in this episode.
And it'll be played more for laughs later. But to me, I commend them for, in the very second appearance, taking a Ferengi that was concerned with something else. Because normally you tend to paint the species, like the Klingons are painted with a brush for the entire original series. It takes to the movies to develop them. Here we are in episode 2 going, okay, but familial father-son relationship can trump that. Yeah. And that is totally understandable.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
I liked that element.
That we complained a lot on the old series that planets were... The climate was homogeneous. The population was.
So this is
that's a valid point. That's a good
I
point.
was disappointed to see on Memory Alpha, and I remembered this episode well. I don't remember this next one I'm going to mention, but Damon Bach does return one more time to try to get his revenge again. So we'll see him a second time. Different actor, because apparently they couldn't find this actor.
Really?
That's what it says on Memory Alpha.
Wow.
They just couldn't locate him, so they had to recast.
He went off the grid, literally.
But then they found him again so he could guest star in Voyager as a different character.
Oh, okay.
A different character.
I was going to say, because I liked him, actually.
So Lee Ehrenberg, who will play him next time around, I like him. He played Grumpy on the Once Upon a Time series on BBC. Okay. I liked that series. I sometimes like that series. Sometimes that series is awful. But anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about this episode. I thought Damon Bach was good. I also, that was Frank Corsentino.
Okay.
Played Damon Bach, and he is best known for 2 episodes of The Next Generation.
Oh, there you go.
Playing 2 different Ferengi Daimons.
Okay.
I guess Daimon's just their captain.
Now, is that why, and I did write this down, because at first I thought that was just his name, Damon Beck or whatever?
No, Damon's captain.
Yeah, I figured that out. So, is that why Mailer Damon is...
different spelling.
Is that why... Okay. That's
no,
I wasn't
I don't
sure.
think so.
All right, I thought maybe...
It has anything to do with Mailer Damon.
I thought maybe that was why it was the internet error.
That would have been really funny.
Yeah, I mean, because
it's
87, some geeks put it together.
Daemon is the word for devil.
Okay, so this is
It's a Unix Linux program that executes in the background, ready to perform an operation when required.
Okay.
It's an unattended process, so that's the bounce backs are unattended.
Okay, processes. That makes sense. All right.
Just an unintended process for mail. Okay, but yeah, Damon's like captain. Frank Corsentino, obviously that was kind of a one-note character, but that's okay. I liked Douglas Warhead, who played Kazaga.
Yeah, I thought he was cool, and I liked the line where I like that he says like, I'm in charge. He did this. It was unprofitable. The line I didn't like about it, unprofitable, at the very end, which might have sounded better in a different context or episode, was it was unprofitable. Revenge never is profitable. I'm like, okay.
That was stupid.
Yeah.
That line. But then he followed it up with, let the dead rest and the past stay in the past.
That's a better one.
And I was like, that's got to be a quote from somebody famous. I looked it up. Nope. Jean-Luc Picard original.
All right, there you go.
Well, whoever wrote this episode. Which I should have looked up already.
That one was better.
Herbert Wright. Teleplay by, story by Larry Forrester. So Herbert Wright is best known for being a producer on the 80s War of the Worlds and a producer on The Next Generation.
Okay.
And The Time Crystal.
And I guess that line could have been in reference to, let the original series be its thing and let us do our thing.
Well, yes, but that line itself evoked so many of those Kirk lines from the end of the movie.
That's true.
So it's like, don't compare us to this thing while we're comparing us to this thing.
That's true.
So
maybe it was the opposite. Like, we're going to crib a little bit from the movies.
I thought this might be the most original series-like episode so far.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to be just from the title, which is the battle the most generic title?
Oh, yeah.
That we've had in...
this should have been Revenge is a...
something. Or
Revenge is not profitable. I don't know.
Call it the Battle of Maxia, at least. Give me something. But, yeah.
And it's not like there was... there was a Battle of Wills, I guess, in this episode.
Yeah.
There wasn't really a space battle. We haven't had a true space battle.
I guess the battle with his past, in theory, they tried to get there, but that really wasn't happening.
Yeah, that's kind of stretch.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge stretch.
I do wish, though, they'd spend half a second giving a background to the Ferengi Bridge. Instead of it always being a white void.
It's just...
The first episode...
We've got a little money now, right?
Well, the first episode they did it made sense because they didn't even want to do visual. And so they were trying to hide, I get that.
Yeah.
So they're probably like, quick, go over to that wall and we'll just film you over there. But when the first officer, Kazago, was talking to Riker and like being friendly with him, I mean, I still think they did a really good job of keeping motivations pure in that, yes, Kazago knew something was wrong, but he couldn't just act on it because he had loyalty to his captain. But then when he justified it through profit, which is what their law system was based
then
on,
everyone was like, that's cool.
But you knew that wasn't his whole reason for doing it. And so I thought, I mean, it was honorable. It's almost, Ferengi don't have honor generally. But
I thought that moment was very, first officer was very, and this is where I hope this episode was going to more, was Balance of Terror.
Balance of Terror with the Romulans?
Yeah, where at the end, Mark, the Romulan commander and Kirk are like, you know what, we're pretty much the same. We could have been friends in a different...
Yeah.
It wasn't as, over the top's not the word, it wasn't as big a deal because it was, I think that was a bigger occasion, but it was definitely, game recognizes game, I thought, between Riker and...
Well, and I think...
Because they both had to take over their ship because their captains were incapacitated by the past.
Sure. And they had this whole thing where when they bring the Stargazer, they come in under the guise of, let's take a step of peace and understanding between our people by giving you this gift. And what resulted was a step of peace and understanding between Kazago and Riker.
That's a good point.
And so they unintentionally did what they said they were going to do.
That's a good point.
And I liked that element a lot.
Yeah, I agree. We both immediately, right at the top, when Crusher kind of hints that headaches have been eliminated, which then led to, and I guess we wanted it, and yet maybe we didn't, it was exposition about what happened to headaches, which is they charted the brain. They charted the brain by them.
Well, and the common cold went with it.
I kind of like that in a way, in the sense of they figured it out.
I did want the exposition, but this is the problem with a cast of competent, knowledgeable characters, and you can't have Wesley in every scene.
Right.
Because
exactly
as she was saying it, Picard should have already known that. And then when they're on the bridge and like Picard's like, oh, it's just a minor headache. Troy gets that great reaction shot of that's not normal.
Right.
And nobody else like pays any attention. It's like, no, everybody in the 21st century should be familiar.
Right. Yeah, and it's that thing I always
Even if
say,
they don't know why, they should know a headache's not coming.
Right. So it's always that thing of like, when I read a lot of plays where people are having a conversation, like, remember that time we did this? It's like, yeah, we were talking about a time, something we did together.
Yeah.
That should be ever present. It's not something that I would have actually forgotten about. Yeah, I remember, so you don't have to tell me about it. We were both there. But that said, I still appreciated getting it. I just wish they would have found another way to get it. But I knew they had to.
I mean, it would have been better if Picard was complaining about, but headaches aren't the thing anymore. And then she's like, but... They could have done it.
I think you've already forgotten.
They didn't do an argument.
A better way. Yeah.
It would have been an argument basically, and they didn't want to do an argument.
Yeah. If he'd said,
because Gene was still around, and the characters weren't allowed to argue when Gene was around. That's also probably why Crusher and Riker never actually took the step of relieving Picard. Because while Gene was still heavily involved, he was like, nope, they all have to get along.
Well, when his name popped up at the end of the episode, I immediately in my mind was like, okay, that explains many things about this episode, including that. Which, that would have been a great one where it's like, hey, I got this headache. These don't exist anymore. What is going on with me?
Yeah.
Which goes to my next thing where it's like Stryker. Picard goes to see Crusher and he's like, man, there's something wrong with me. And then she's like, okay, I think you do these things. No, I'm good. I'm fine. And I was like, what the heck is that? And then I'm like, nope, I do the same thing. I go to my doctor. I'm like, I need my annual physical. Yeah, these things are wrong. We should probably do this. You know what? Nah, I think I'm probably good. I don't. Nah.
That's human nature.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, take my blood, check it out. But exactly. It's
humanity hasn't changed that much.
I think that makes sense. I think people always like, tell me whether I'm dying or not. I'm not. Okay, well. You know what? Don't tell me I'm dying. You know what? Tell me I'm not dying is what I want.
Right.
And if you can't tell me that, then I don't want to.
You don't want to hear it.
Yeah, then I'm gonna leave.
Just lie to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, this was a super heavy Picard episode.
Yeah.
We learned a lot about him from beginning to end.
And that was one of the things that I actually liked about it. It's like, okay, if the only excuse for this episode was give us some Picard background.
Well, not just background. I mean, so the first scene, we're getting to see his fish tank, we see the cutlass, we're seeing his decorations and his personal space in the way we had it. And then when we're on the Stargazer, we also see some of his possessions. There was one particular statue I saw sitting on a shelf that I recognized that we'll definitely see in his quarters down the road. And just those personal effects.
Yeah.
tell a lot about him, even without the story of, okay, I was captain of the Stargazer, I
Right.
lost the Stargazer,
Right.
I developed the Picard maneuver.
Yeah.
All of which is cool.
Yeah.
But the details are also cool.
Yeah,
It
true.
wasn't
Yeah,
just-
it tells us more. Yeah, and I agree. It makes him. That's a better way of doing exposition than him just saying it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree, and I like that. And I did write. It just did make me think that Kirk had this past that kept building and building, building, and so now this is the first part where it's like, oh, Picard's got a pretty good past too.
Yeah,
Or
of course
he's got
he
a full
does.
past, obviously.
Of course he does. He was, they didn't mention the amount of time he was Captain Stargazer in this episode, but we'll learn down the road that he was a lieutenant on the Stargazer, then a lieutenant commander, he was helmsman, and his captain died in the line of duty, and he took command and ended up captaining the ship for 22 years
Yep.
before it was destroyed at the Battle of Baxia, which only the Ferengi call it that. He's just like, another
Right.
day of the life.
Right.
We lost
Right.
the ship. What is not explained in this episode, or in any other episode ever, is what Picard was doing from the 9 years between the Stargazer's
That's-
destruction and him taking command of the Enterprise.
I imagine there's fan theories out there, but
Well,
there's
there
nothing
are,
that's
and
canon.
there's some novels that try to fill in the
Right.
gap. There are a couple of clues.
Okay.
You could just say, because he said, "Oh, we were like floating in shells for a long time. Maybe they're floating in shells for 9 years." That wouldn't make sense, because then he'd be a
Right.
little more messed up in the head.
Yeah.
Most of what I'm seeing is most people believe he was captain of another starship in between. It just wasn't, and he must have comported himself very well to get the flagship, but it just wasn't relevant to whatever. Like they never had to talk about it. 'cause
I
it didn't
wonder-
come up.
Well, not that we need more Trek to watch, but I feel like that would have been that could have been a prequel. if we
There's a
wanna go
few
that
novels
way,
set
too.
on the Stargazer
Yeah.
with him in command.
Oh, okay.
But I don't.
It still
there's
doesn't cover
none
those
with
9
the
years,
9
though.
years.
Yeah.
But we know that he was like on a starship when he met Yar, and given Yar's age, that would have had to happen in the 9 years.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
was impressed by Geordi during those 9
Uh-huh.
years because he chose both of them for his crew specifically. We'll find out later.
So that would almost be an origin story.
So he's got a.
Origin story.
So he definitely had to have like been active on a starship,
Yeah.
not just riding a desk.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't give somebody that's been riding a desk for 9 years command of the flagship either.
No.
Yeah, I guess I think we can assume enough, and I'm glad they don't give us the whole history because that would be boring.
Right. Then I agree. And same here. Yeah.
It's just a shame we didn't get back around to that at some point in the next 7 years.
I know we have the new Picard series that's going forward.
And there's like
I'm sure maybe somebody can. I'm trying to think of who would play Picard for those.
Well, I think they've already had a couple different actors playing our versions, but we'll get another like 4 episodes where they reference events on the Stargazer, and we'll learn more about his time
Okay.
on the Stargazer. So we get some more backstory, just not that one gap.
J.K. Simmons is the only person coming to mind right now. But he
He's
might
a
be
little
too
old.
old. I think he's too old though.
Tom Hardy played him in Star Trek Nemesis.
Okay.
He played him like Academy age.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, he
But
played
that
a clone of
was
him.
a while ago. So maybe we're getting closer.
Well, he captained the Stargazer for 22 years.
Okay.
So, and that's not even counting the time between the Academy and becoming captain.
Okay.
So he was a very young captain, like Kirk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it hasn't been 30 years since Nemesis yet, but just age Tom Hardy up slightly,
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
All right.
Well,
yeah.
Tom Hardy was a little older than that role anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
Like,
All right.
Tom Hardy could play him.
Yeah. I'll take that. Yeah.
And Tom Hardy is a much better actor now than he was when he did
Yes, he
Nemesis.
is. Yes, he is. So right now, I probably will at the end. I rank Kirk's pass above Picard's, but we haven't got a lot of Picard's pass.
Well,
But nothing's that. What? I know nothing will convince me.
I will say that the fact that when we meet Picard's brother, he's not played by Patrick Stewart with a mustache, already knocks Picard up a little bit.
That will probably help.
We
sway.
will learn a lot about. Well, we met Picard's mother briefly in that.
Oh, that's right. We did. Yeah.
But we will learn about his upbringing
That's
and where
right.
he grew up.
That's right.
And that even though he grew up in France, French is a dead language, so that's why he has a British accent. At least that's what's on Memory Alpha.
That's actually what I always told people when I was like, "Why aren't you taking Spanish? Why are you taking French? It's a dead language. It's like Latin, but it's not." I don't want to mean to offend any of our French.
Not yet, but by the 24th century, apparently.
Yeah.
Even though the head of the whole United Federation of Planets is in Paris. Starfleet's based in San Francisco. The UFP is based in Paris.
Interesting.
Yeah. So whenever we're on Earth, we're always in San Francisco or Paris.
And despite what I just said, I would be sad if French disappeared because it's beautiful. It sounds beautiful, even though I can't speak any of it. My wife can. Before we leave Kirk versus Picard, I also stunt doubles. Not quite a push up, but we're getting there. Picard gets thrown, and that stunt double didn't look like Picard. His head just barely rolled in. Now, if it was Patrick Stewart, I apologize, but it did not look like. It looked like he had hair on top and a different color hair, and the rest of them. So. 20 years later, we haven't made quite the advances in stunt doubles just yet.
While we're on original series comparison,
Sure.
I thought the music was particularly bad in this episode.
I made a similar note. I know we've talked about the stingers being similarly bad, the cut to commercial stingers, but this one was definitely...
so much good music in Star Trek.
I know.
That when it's bad, it's just so
It's
obvious.
And again, it's that same thing of like, yep, in the 80s we were still like, this is how when you know to go to commercial.
And you have a whole orchestra playing that crap. It just seems like such a waste of their time. Worf, there have been a couple times where I felt like Worf was Chekhov in the series already, like being the young upstart
Yeah.
or whatever. And he grew up in Russia, so there's the parallel. But I don't think we've learned that yet. But
Yeah.
Worf, when the Ferengi were coming over, he said, I can't believe they're coming here. And it very much to me echoed Star Trek 6 when Chekhov's like, guess who's coming to dinner? Like, I can't do the Russian accent, but it was a very... And that actually was filmed after this, so maybe it was Chekhov imitating Worf, I can imitate Chekhov, but... Okay, let's do fashion.
Fashion.
So the Ferengi outfits were pretty much the same as last time?
Yeah. And I don't remember what I said in the last episode, but I feel like every time I see them, I'm like, I don't like their makeup. And then the longer this episode, the longer it went, I'm like, okay, you know what?
Well, it's going to change very little in the next 15 years to get used to it.
Yeah.
I think, the more time I've had to think about it, I feel like their uniforms aren't gaudy enough. They are so obsessed with gold and ornamentation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just animal fur.
Yeah.
Maybe they had not really considered that aspect when they developed them. Also, Wesley got his new uniform.
Yeah, I read Wesley's shirt. This is better than the sweater.
I like that uniform.
I do too.
I mean, eventually he'll be in a real uniform.
Yeah.
But I like this. It's the acting insane uniform. It looks like a kid version of the uniform. Like you're not a real officer yet, but it has similarities in design.
And it's not quite a rainbow he's got going across the front, but it looks like a video game like Tron or something, kind of the blue, yellow, red. Maybe.
Yeah, because he hasn't picked especially, so he's got all the colors.
Oh, that's right. That makes sense.
And I think it's similar to the cadet outfits we'll see from Starfleet Academy as well.
Okay.
So it makes...
Okay, yeah.
I like
that makes sense. I
do.
do too. I like it much better than... Everything's better than that sweater, but yeah.
I didn't mind the sweaters. I like big comfy sweaters. I don't understand why they haven't been changed in 400 years, but...
Well, yeah. His sweater... Was Crusher's... His mom's... Was her going to the Stargazer outfit different than... Have we seen that outfit before? When she beamed over to the Stargazer side.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a little different. I thought it was...
didn't bump on
it looked like she had like a slash overcoat slash my traveling doctor's coat.
Oh.
It looked a little... To say it was
It wasn't
steam...
her normal blue coat that she wears?
Oh, maybe that is what it was. It just looked different to me.
Okay.
Maybe it was a different shot or a long shot.
Okay, I dig that blue coat thing.
I liked it. And maybe this is the first time I really took notice.
It's like
of it.
McCoy always went short sleeves. She's got the overcoat.
Yeah.
They have to do something more casual with the doctors. So the Ferengi apparently have really great technology. They restored the Stargazer and automated it all with one guy's voice commands.
Yeah. Okay. So that explains. So essentially,
when they left that ship, it was just barely floating in space.
And they just left it. They just let it go.
Well, because it was really badly damaged.
Okay.
And they fixed all that. They didn't cosmetically fix it, but they repaired all the systems. And then one guy could control it. I mean, it took like 6 people to control the Enterprise when they stole it.
Why wouldn't they self-destruct it?
Because Damon Bach wanted to use it as a lure. Oh, why?
No, I mean, why wouldn't? Yeah,
it could have been too badly damaged to destruct.
Didn't have enough power or whatever to destroy itself.
I don't know.
Okay.
Or the destruct systems were one of the systems damaged.
Okay.
Would be my guess.
Yeah.
There's no big canon explanation.
Yeah.
Not only that, but then they beamed through shields.
That was... Yeah, I had the same reaction. I was like... Because they were like... He was like, raise the shields. I'm like, oh... He's trapped there. And then 2 minutes later, they're beaming through it. I'm like, what?
I know it's an old starship, so maybe they figured out how to, but then the Enterprise D would know how to too, right?
Right.
The Ferengi don't strike me as super advanced. And then they had the Mind Machine, which was super advanced.
The what I called our voodoo doll.
Yeah, that took his whole life savings to buy.
Yeah.
And then that might be the clue. Like, maybe they've just bought... I mean, I liked the look of their transporters, the little swirly thing. That maybe they just bought superior technology.
That was what I thought. That's what I thought.
Whereas
they got
Starfleet's
that.
not going to buy.
That's what I thought. They got it from somebody else.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll see it later. And they kept calling it... They called it a gray device, but I thought it was a scarlet and gray device. It looked very much like a Buckeyes... They bought it at the Buckeye store for... Sorry everybody who is not a Buckeyes fan, and I'm not either, but And sorry, everyone who is a Buckeyes fan, because I'm not. But it had that weird scarlet. It literally looked scarlet gray. It looked like a Buckeyes helmet to me. The orb, or whatever they call it, the sphere.
It looked like an original series prop to me.
Yes.
I did appreciate that the Stargazer had like TOS panels, like from the movie movie version.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't the bridge of the movie Enterprise.
Yeah.
But it was that era.
Yeah.
I did like that. I guess briefly they went through design fairs where they wrote the station names on the stations, like it said Helm on the Helm panel. I appreciated that. But like the graphics were like Star Trek original movie graphics. It was Constellation Class. I was trying to remember if we've seen Constellation Class before. I misremembered it as being Reliant Class, but it was not. It looked like an older...
Well, what was TOS Enterprise? What's in it?
Constitution.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
The Constellation Class, it was employed from the late 23rd through 24th centuries. It was seen in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country.
Okay.
And then this was the first episode of Star Trek. We'll see it in other Enterprise D or Star Trek Next Generation episodes. It has 4 nacelles, 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, which wasn't quite clear from all the side shots.
Yeah, and sometimes when they showed it from the shot, it looked like a Klingon bird, or not bird of prey, the Klingon ships.
Yeah.
But I thought it was cool.
Funny note about the Reliant. Picard, when he was younger, before he became captain, served on the USS Reliant.
Oh!
No word on if it was... Oh, well, it had to be at least the Reliant A, because Khan destroyed the original Reliant.
Oh, yeah.
And he would have been too young to serve.
Yeah.
Or not born yet.
Yeah. A lot of tractor beam talk in this episode.
Yeah, I liked the trick of using the inertia. Like, you're already moving, just let it go.
Yeah.
And then it didn't make sense to me that, why do they ever keep the tractor beam on it? Why not just, like,
float along
whenever
with
you
it.
change course, you tractor beam it?
Data remembered everything about the
this is why...
tractor beam lecture.
This is why there's a problem with galaxy warming into the 24th century. Too much power used.
Yeah, exactly.
I liked Data in this episode.
I did too.
He had a couple good lines. Secondhand merchandise.
That was funny. I thought I think he called it, when he said that one of these two is a forgery.
Yeah, and they're like, it's that one. And he's like, yeah, that's
Didn't I
one
just
of
say
the
that?
two.
He's not wrong. And I guess...
He's still very robotic at this point.
I should know what a audio thing is a forgery, but anyway, yeah, I thought Data was funny, and I enjoy his stuff, and I almost, obviously I love Spock more than most characters of history, but I feel like most of the time his humor isn't, maybe it is forced and I'm just enjoying it, but it doesn't seem as forced as there hasn't been as much forced humor, I should say. Yeah, that's a better thing, because a lot of what Spock said in the early series was funny, and Spock threw shade better than anyone. But Data, I'm enjoying him very, very much.
It's just sad we don't have somebody to throw shade at Data the way McCoy always did at Spock. But Roddenberry wanted them all to get along.
Well, and maybe it's okay because then they wouldn't be species, it'd be machinist or whatever. The old series, whenever they'd rail against machines.
There's not a McCoy personality in this new crew.
No.
Data is kind of a Spock. Riker's kind of a Kirk.
Yeah.
Picard's kind of a new character, which is fine. Worf's kind of Chekhov.
Yeah, there really isn't.
Geordi's a little bit Sulu.
An irascible...
No, there's
That's
not.
something to kind of keep an eye on, and if that...
I don't think there ever gets to be grumpy in next year. DS9, everybody's always fighting with each other, which is great.
I'm excited to get to that 9 years.
Well, so Roddenberry created the concept of Deep Space Nine,
but somebody else did it.
The writers, because he died before it came about, but the writers were like, this crew... Only half of them are Starfleet. They can all fight all the time. It frees us from the bounds when we're not on a starship.
I feel like they were doing gritty reboots before everyone else was doing reboots.
And they were doing a serial television show before anybody else was doing a serial television show.
Exactly. I'm going to keep seeing my doctor and following their advice just so I can live that long.
I did think it was interesting we established in the Battle Maxi the Ferengi was an unidentified ship, so the Ferengi are still relatively newly known as Starfleet.
Yeah.
I liked Riker's reaction about the clothed females. When he reminded us. That was just... I didn't like it. It was awful.
I didn't either.
But it was very amusing. He's a little too sex-charged.
He is so chipper the first 25 minutes of this episode. He's just like...
Because they're talking about naked
everything's
ladies.
Great. Yeah, I guess so. He just carried
on Justice, he was sleeping with that whole planet. He is the Kirk of this series. He's a big horn dog.
I think you're right.
Well, they put Riker on there because they knew the captain wasn't going to be Kirk, so we needed some connection.
Yeah. Speaking of horn dogs, There were two different references in this episode I thought were euphemisms, could be used as euphemisms for sex. The Ferengi beam over and the Picard maneuver, obviously. Those would also be great band names if nobody's used those. So
only Beverly Crusher knows both Picard maneuvers. I don't think they've slept together yet.
Well said.
I don't think they've slept together yet. I feel like that's the unfortunate part. This was during the era where they still kept the couples apart the whole time.
Yeah.
So Crusher and Picard never get together.
Yep.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Just like Riker and Troy, they could never get together until the films.
Right. While we're on the Good Doctor, this is two spots where I'm not sure she was a good doctor, but maybe not. She just decides it has to be the emotional pressure causing these headaches.
Sure.
It has to be.
Well, she mapped his brain out.
But does it? Does it have to?
I mean, when you rule out every medical thing, like, she's a super brilliant doctor. She's done all these scans.
I guess that makes sense, unless you... And I think I've been beating this drum for several episodes of the new generation, the next generation, which is, if you've ruled out all the possible things, then you have to consider the impossible, which is what Spock would say.
Right.
And so eventually they get to, well, somebody must be doing something outside of it. So, but I will buy that.
Well, she'll soon be promoted to head of all of Starfleet Medical, so clearly she's a genius.
But if the emotional pressure is causing it, can't that be charted too in some way?
That's what they have Troy for. That's why they were consulting. So there were a lot of Crusher Troy scenes in this episode, and I'm happy to see their friendships start. Like, there wasn't really, but they'll develop them more because they're the only two ladies that stick around when Yar leaves. But it did not feel forced to me, like, let's just put the two ladies.
No, I agree.
Their two specialties complemented one another, were natural for the mission.
And I thought I would get here sooner, but Troy is already... Nobody can match Uhura, Nichelle Nichols, ever. But she's already the person every episode. I'm like, all right, it's good to see her. I really like her.
She's the Uhura of this series.
And I'm glad she gets to do more than Uhura did. But I like, just from a purely man liking women...
Yeah,
I like the look of her. So.
I think Troy looks far better 10 years past this.
Well,
I'm a Crusher fan at this point,
and I definitely appreciate her as well.
And I think Crusher still looks great.
Yeah,
but Marina Sirtis in the films, I think looks much better than she does in the series.
I'm looking forward to that. Before we leave the Doctor, and I think we might have talked about this before, but I guess as the ship's doctor, she can pretty much inject people with whatever she wants, right? Because I felt like she was just like, all right, I'm just going to keep shoving these things into you. So, yeah. Because I was like, should she have consent? Should she need consent? But I'm guessing in this instance, she doesn't. Yeah, she can...
She's a full commander.
She can make a command decision. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's not a low-ranking officer.
Also, and while we're on medical stuff, it felt like it was a Picard PTSD episode. Or that they were getting... Which makes sense. I mean, that would totally make sense. If you commanded a starship for that long and been through all those things... It totally makes sense that you would have some form of that.
But they've cured PTSD.
But they've cured. Apparently they have.
Unless you have a mind control device that makes you relive it.
While we're there, I liked that when he was like, I don't feel the pain anymore. It's gone. She's like, oh, it's not gone.
I liked that too.
We just got rid of it, which explains a lot of current medicine. Yeah. Which I thought that was really good. So.
And I don't think that was unnecessary exposition.
No, I thought that was just kind of dropped in really nicely. I thought that was really good. So, my last medical thing. When he starts saying, is something burning? I was like, is he smelling burnt toast? Is he having a stroke?
I thought the same thing.
I thought that's what was going on.
Riker said, make it so. In this episode. Yeah. He stole Picard's line. Which, to me, I think it's a sign of the respect he's already developed for Picard. That's how I'm choosing to see it. Rather than just a lazy writing.
Yeah, I like that.
Also, why did Picard just happen to have his phaser on him when he boomed over the Stargazer? They don't carry phasers around.
That's a good point.
Don't they just hand them out for away missions? Like I
feel like you're right.
Yeah, Starfleet officers don't carry phasers.
I wonder even if in his diluted state he was still like, I should take a phaser with me.
I don't think so.
I agree. I'm just trying to find a way. I'm trying to find a way. That was one of the things.
That and Damon Bach beaming back through the shields were the two things that did not make sense enough.
Yeah, I immediately was like, no.
Only the Star Trek nerds said no. Nobody else noticed.
Exactly.
But we all said no.
We've talked about this many times. Yes. Yeah. Again, excellent use in this episode of 1 Earth Hour. I enjoyed that.
I missed that. When did they say that?
It was real early. It was the Ferengi were like, in one of your Earth hours, we will come on over. We will do the Ferengi beam over. I didn't make a note of this, but they talked about, and this is something I always did like about the original series on this was like, we're way the hell out here. And so getting a hold of Starfleet's going to take us a long time, which is very 2001 and very actual space, how it's worked. Because at first I was like, well, they're moving at light speed, but okay, you know what? No, that makes sense. Even that third speed messages would still take a long time too. It would take them several days to travel to Starfleet, so it didn't make sense that messages.
I feel like that starts to go away here as the series
picks
up.
Okay.
And then Voyager, they had to like, okay, we're going to send the ship 70 years away so that they can't communicate again.
Which I guess maybe that kind of explains, we've talked about subspace frequency, so then maybe that's a, I don't know, ham radio, I guess?
I don't know.
Yeah. I love the idea of a tug ship. They just called it a tug. They're like, a tug's going to take it the rest of the way. I was like, that sounds kind of cool.
I want that. That's my alternate episode.
It's one of mine too. I had three.
Okay.
I had three
Mine
of them.
is the tug ship, which is captained by Adam Quark.
I was just gonna say that. That just hit me.
I'm sorry.
That would have been so much better. Yeah. I was just gonna come back with that because I hadn't thought about it until just now. But
see our special episode of Quark, the television show.
That would have been great. And I just called it the USS Staten Island. Is
Okay.
what is the ship that was gonna come.
That works too.
But that was one of my three alternate episodes. But yeah, I love the idea, and that's one of those. I know they're doing the Below Sea Deck series called Below Decks one, which I think is cool. But this would be along those lines, but maybe better.
That series is going to be set like 24th century.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe past Voyager.
Oh, okay.
The uniforms and stuff. They've released art and things, and it's going to be like.
Okay.
We wondered, like, is it going to be prequel times, or is it going to be more?
Is that animated, right?
Yeah.
Animated comedy.
Yes.
Okay.
The four main characters are all ensigns.
I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm
very hesitant on that.
Hesitantly.
I know Star Trek Picard as we record this, just finished, wrapped up.
That I'm more interested in.
That one I'm super excited about. Though I'm going to have to watch a couple episodes.
I can't remember who's behind the one we're just talking, the Below Decks one.
I mean, everything's being overseen by Kurtzman.
Okay.
Alex Kurtzman.
Okay.
Well, I trust Kurtzman.
Right.
He was the person that made the good things happen in the new movies. So.
Okay, then I'm okay. I just wrote a note, Picard the Executioner, when they started making it seem like he just destroyed his ship just for no reason. Made me
Didn't
think.
they do a similar story with Kirk? Where he was like faked evidence of...
Yeah, they did. And that's immediately what went into my brain was like, oh, we did this episode.
They're still ripping off original series episodes.
It wasn't court-martial, but it was... but yeah, they essentially accused him of...
I think after season 1, they stopped ripping off original series episodes. Yeah.
I know we disagree on this one, but I liked when Wesley said, "You're welcome, ladies." Because I had the same thought, was like, twice in this episode, he's come forward with like, hey man, there's something going on. And they're like, Riker's like, you should have done this, or Picard's like, you should have done this the right way. Like, okay, thanks, but still, this is good information that you're going to kind of ignore anyway. And then he gives them information, and they're like, okay, bye. And then, I know time is of the essence, but they were just gone. So I was the one who enjoyed Wesley being like, "You're welcome, ladies," because I was thinking the exact same line.
I think there was a way he could have done it.
There is.
It was so smarmy.
Oh, but that's
smart.
why I liked it. So, in both ways. But
I do not like smarmy.
I did the other thing about it was both the things he did were things that like no one else on the ship would do. Where I think they'd just be like, I'm not even thinking about that. That's not even
Data's reaction.
Something I would do.
What'd you do? We're going to talk about this later.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Yeah, so I like that aspect that it wasn't Wesley meddling. It was just him like, all right, well, I'm here and that seems weird and I know enough to look into it and I know nobody else is, so I'll just go over here and do this. Oh, I figured this out. And it wasn't, and maybe that makes sense in the sense of when the ladies are like, oh, we got to take care of this. From a storytelling aspect and not making Wesley more annoying, it wasn't like, Wesley, thanks for saving the day. I think that probably would have been more annoying.
Yeah.
So maybe it's better from a serious perspective, but I do like him saying, you're welcome, ladies.
That could have been fixed for me by Kershaw saying, thanks, honey, kissing him on the cheek.
Yeah.
Instead of what they did. So on a scale of 1 to 10.
Or even better if Troy had been the one and just patted him. Not kiss. No kiss. Inappropriate. Just a pat. Just a shoulder pat.
Still would have been a boner.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the ladies, you don't talk about your mom that way. He was clearly talking about Troy.
Oh, that's a good point.
So scale of 1 to 10, what are you rating Wesley on the annoyance factor?
This might be my lowest, just because I liked what he did this episode. I'm going to give him 0.5.
0.5?
Yeah.
I thought 1 was the bottom of the scale.
Well, if 1's the bottom, I'll go with it.
Okay. I was going to give it, 1 is to me, not annoying at all. We haven't done zeros. So
we'll stick with one. Let's stick with one.
I was going to give him 2 because he was at 1 until that Smarty. So we're going to give him a 1.5 average.
All right.
Which is still the least annoying he's been other than the last Outpost, the other Ferengi episode, because he wasn't in it.
Oh, okay.
So he has a 1 for that episode. But this is the least 1.5 is his lowest score so far. So who was your annoyance in this episode?
Probably Picard.
Picard?
For nobody was too annoying, so...
my annoyance is Yar. She wasn't freaking doing her job.
Oh, you're right.
We didn't see her
that's better. Yeah.
We didn't see her go to Picard. Mm-hmm. We didn't see her really do anything with the Stargazer. Even when Worf's there was something in his quarters, she's like, go check it. It's like, no, that's your job.
Her job almost seemed like the Galaxy Quest where she was just repeating what other people were telling her.
She was not acting like a security chief in danger.
You're right. That's a good one. That's a good one. I only have one more note other than my other 2 alternate episodes. When Picard's must destroy the sphere, it sounded very much like Reggie Jackson in The Naked Gun saying, must kill the Queen. No, that was probably after this, so they probably stole from Star Trek. My other 2 alternate episodes, one, I think we already covered this. I just wanted to be called the Battle of Maxia. Just give me that. Or, no, actually, that wasn't it. It was... I wanted to see the Battle of Maxia because that sounded a lot more interesting.
I mean, we kind of saw because we did get to see the Picard maneuver.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
And we saw the ghostly visage of Picard reliving it. Yeah,
which was weird. And I really liked his helms person.
Yeah, I figured you would.
But we didn't get to hear enough of hers for me to. I'm getting ahead of where we're going, but
yeah.
My other alternate episode was I wanted to see that tractor beam conservation lecture. I want to be in there. What is that? Is that a class? Is that a one-time thing? I mean,
it's Wesley going up to Riker and saying we should conserve, and Riker going, "Go away, boy."
I mean, is there an entire tractor beam class?
I doubt it.
I know I'm obsessed with talking about tractor beams.
I think that's a 3 days part of a longer course of engineering.
I mean, maybe there should be more because I feel like there's so much tractor beam stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty simple. Turn it on and off.
It should be, but that's all. It's
the cake day of course that most people sleep through, and that's why they don't remember they should turn it off.
I don't even know.
Everybody's like, oh, it's so simple.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
Which is why Data has to come through and be like, no, this is how that works. Yeah, that makes sense, actually.
One man, woman of Star Trek. You get a new one?
As I was alluding to, I wanted to go with the new helmsperson, but I didn't get enough from her, so I'm going to stick with our lady from Justice. Yeah.
I have been on McDougal since episode 2, and I'm not saying there's anybody that matches her, but I am ready to move on because it was such a brief role. So I noticed in the background as Picard entered one of his meetings, there was this woman wearing the skirt version of the uniform, yellow, the yellow, the gold, and she had long, dark, curly hair.
Okay.
And at first shot, we only saw her from the back. And I was like, I'm already on it.
Okay.
And then later scene, she walks across the bridge and we get the side profile. I'm like, okay, she's attractive.
I completely missed her. I saw there was a blonde in a very early scene in the back of the bridge.
Oh, no, this was a brunette with long curly hair. Honestly, it reminded me of what Troy looks like later in the series.
Oh, okay.
Except I think she was younger, but...
And I feel like I'm suddenly... Whereas the original series, and I already knew most of the episodes, I knew this episode, Kirk's going to be another girl or whatever, or Spock or McCoy, whoever's girl it is. In the Next Generation, I'm very focused on anybody right now. Although last episode, Justice, it wasn't hard to find anybody.
I think this segment made more sense than the original series.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be...
I think you're right.
Most of the rest of Star Trek.
It's more of a, who else was in the episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you'll really like Leela when we get to her in Deep Space Nine.
I believe that, yeah.
She works for the Ferengi, so she wears a very revealing uniform.
Oh, all right.
And she's probably in 20 episodes.
Okay, all right. I'm looking forward to it.
She's a barmaid, basically.
Well, and Counselor Troy was in her outfit that I mentioned I liked last week.
Yes.
2 weeks ago. So
yeah, you did.
I appreciate that.
How's this episode rank?
I'm guessing somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Let's just start with Justice, because recency.
Despite the misgivings, I think I liked it better than that.
I did too.
Yeah.
Right above Justice is Encounter at Farpoint.
I feel like that's a bumping point. And maybe it's just because it's the pilot in my brain.
Yeah, it's tough, because that had good elements and also bad, and so did this.
What's above Encounter at Farpoint?
The Last Outpost, which was the other Ferengi one. And I don't remember why we ranked that so high.
Huh.
The Naked Now is still reigning for the season.
Which...
I go back and forth on Encounter at Farpoint.
Because it's the Q episode, which I should probably like less.
Yeah, it was. I feel like this gave us more exposition than that.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, maybe we bump this above it.
I'm inclined to put it above the Counterfire Point. I'm trying to remember why we liked The Last Outpost so much.
Me too.
Because this one had some obvious flaws and Last Outpost is second, I'm inclined to say this probably goes below The Last Outpost.
Yeah.
But as much as everybody rags on how poorly handled the Ferengis are, it's 2 and 3 right now.
Yeah, so maybe this rewatch is bringing a new reflection on the Ferengi so far.
Well, yeah, like I said, we're going to get so much more Ferengi.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to feel like Klingons where you feel like you know the whole culture. We got them. Other than Klingons, they probably are the next best developed species of Star Trek.
Well, and maybe that's, again, going back to the original series, and we've talked about how much I love the Romulans. Maybe part of that is I didn't see enough of them. They just gave me enough that I was like, give me some more.
We'll get into some Romulans next gen, too.
Yeah,
and they're going to supposedly play a real big role in Star Trek Picard. So.
Oh, okay. And like I said, I read a few novels where they were involved, which made me like them even more. And Joanne Linville. I still love you, Joanne, if you're listening.
She was pretty great.
Yeah.
The other Ferengi episode, that's when there was the godlike being portal judging them.
Okay. Wow. I'm surprised we ranked it that high, too.
I know.
I know we're early. What are we, 9 episodes in?
Yes.
Okay.
So if we're counting Counterfire Point as 1, which I do, this is 8.
Okay.
It would be 9 if you count Counterfire Point 2. Next week, Hide and Q. The Enterprise encounters Q again, and he tempts Riker by endowing him with the powers of the Q. I feel like Q's usually only in the show once a season, and this is like the exception. Okay. But yeah, Riker gets the powers of a Q.
I'm not excited at face value, but we'll see. I know you guys said Q will probably grow on me.
I hope so. I like Q. I like him a lot, mainly because I like John Delancey.
I do like him. And that title's better than The Battle.
I always feel like Q has a bigger presence in Star Trek than he does. Because he only did, he's done a lot of extra things. Like he's appeared in video games for Star Trek and stuff. John Delancey's reprised the role. But of the original run of The Next Generation, he was only in 8 episodes in 7 seasons, which isn't a lot.
Because I wonder how many other guest stars made appearances as just one person.
Less so than the original series, but it happens quite a bit in Next Gen. He only did 3 episodes of Voyager. I always feel like it's more with Voyager because his Voyager's got an arc. We learn more about the continuum, the Q continuum in Voyager. Okay. But no, I think so. DS9 has like 40, 50 reoccurring characters. Oh, okay. Besides the main cast.
Oh, okay. Because it's more of a...
It's insane.
Yeah, it's more...
Not everybody comes back, but when you have a stagnant thing in one place...
Mm-hmm. And it's serial and...
Yeah, it's a lot of returning characters. Voyager will go back to the model where we don't see a lot of returning characters, but that makes sense because you just keep moving through space. Mm-hmm. And it always confused me on Voyager when they found a way to bring a character back. Because I'm like, but they left them weeks ago. How did they catch up and go around them? I know Voyager keeps having to stop off.
Yeah. I guess...
We'll talk about that more when we get to Voyager.
Yeah, that's interesting just from, we had Mud for, 2 episodes and one of the animated or whatever and that kind of stuff. But I think...
Well, now with Discovery, we've seen more Mud, so we've got more.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I maybe that's interesting because from an improv perspective, I know we've talked about where you have something in one location, everyone comes there. Mm-hmm. It's easier to create relationships, all that, than when everyone's at different places. Yeah. So that's interesting. And we know the original series was supposed to be like a Western, and it was more episodic and that kind of stuff. So. That makes sense from a storytelling perspective that you get all these interesting people coming to one place, especially from a serious perspective as opposed to science fiction movies.
Becomes such a hub.
Yeah,
like everybody does want to pass through it.
Yeah,
it becomes very strategically important.
That's interesting.
It's basically the front lines of a war. And all the species get involved. So
you see all the conflicts and you see all the different people without having to go out and find those people and drop whatever happened last week. Yeah, I'm looking even more forward to it.
It's part of what I love about these.
That's why I gotta keep seeing my doctor.
Absolutely. If you die after just the first season, you're gonna be so disappointed.
And Dr. I probably shouldn't. No, I can share this. This isn't. Crusher's got nothing on my doctor.
What's that?
Oh, my doctor's beautiful.
Oh, okay. Much more beautiful than Gates McFadden?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
She's also on maternity leave, so right now.
My doctor's beautiful too. He's this old Jewish man.
Oh, well, there you go. See?
Except he retired now, so I don't have a doctor.
Oh, well,
Beautiful soul. No, I really like him.
If you need a doctor, contact me. But she's on maternity leave, so right now.
Okay, so next week, Q returns.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have some guests come back for that.
Maybe, yeah.
I think it's
so.
not just going to be the two of us.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. So, until then, live long.
And prosper.
And be careful about accepting gifts from Ferengi.
If you've got a headache, it's not a headache, and it's not a tumor.
It's All Been Done presents.
Who's got the time?